Gale Force eSports wins the first game of HGC on the 2.0 patch, but it's a long way from the end of the series. We talked about maybe what battleground we would go to if B-Step wanted to choose battleground and try to stay away from some of the hot spots for Gale Force eSports. We'll soon find out if that's the case or if they still want to get first pick. They have generally favored first pick, but occasionally will step outside of that to try to get map pick.
Yeah, the general consensus, it feels like for most North American teams, is the fact that they want that first pick, but B-Step here is going to be taking us to Dragonshire for game number 2. So opting for the map pick after that first loss and going to North America's new favorite, it seems like here, Dragonshire. Does 2.0 make anything on Dragonshire seem strange? Not really. None of the heroes or have, you know, especially some of the newer ones or any of the changes come into play really seem to affect the mechanic of Dragonshire or how the map itself functions and rotations.
If Johanna for rotations, then Cassia.
Yeah, you could Cassia. That's a good point.
I just need Cassia, man. I'm ready. I want to cast my Cassia game. Every other region's gotten theirs. Soon.
We'll figure it out. The fact that Tassadar made it all the way through the first ban is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
This is, we'll see if it does here, where wave clear is more important. Ariel's still banned out. More fear. I'm still holding that to be fear of the double support. That is what it seems like. I cannot think of a different reason. And a Noob's still banned out here, but the bans were swapped. No, never mind, I lied.
Yeah, Gale Force eSports. What do you think about the Anubarak ban that they've been prioritizing? Do you think it's a step toward the compositions that B-Step has been running? They have played a lot of Anubarak before, or is it something else?
Well, like in this scenario, it's hard to judge, right? Because it's like, it's on, the fact that we're on Dragonshire and going with the Dahaka means like, I just wanted a solid top laner and a global. He's just so well-rounded to the map itself that it just feels harder to measure. But, you know, I don't know. At least not yet. I feel like that's the biggest thing. Like, I can come in here all day talking about, like, well, when I look at 2.0, here's how I feel. But where everybody else lands is always, always very different. And then we always come back together as a unit, as one, and say, no, we think this is the way to play the video game.
We are all HGC.
We are all HGC.
Falstad Malfurion, I said it the last draft, B-Step generally has not had the most success with Falstad so far in Part 2. They are 1 in 5 so far, so 1 and 4. 1 win, 4 losses. There you go. Greymane Murden, a Greymane. Again, Greymane for Gale Force. They have their top laner with Dahaka.
Yeah, I really like. It seems like Gale Force has slowly risen up their priority of the Greymane. I really like that. Starting to make a bit more sense here for North America. On 2.0, what do we see for the ban now for B-Step, though? Supports are still a hot topic, but with Malfurion picked up, it's always been a huge question mark, even after we've had time in North America. What is the second best support, right? So it doesn't scream a support ban. But a warrior doesn't either, and there's no major backliner. This is a tough ban for B-Step. I think we might learn something here.
How likely is it that Gale Force could get Abathur here? It's Dragonshire, so not as...
It's possible. We've seen it a lot more in other parts of the world, especially Europe. Dragonshire, Abathur seems to be way too abundant. So it is possible. Kel'Thas is going to be the ban. Fear of the rotation, stacking with the Murden. It's kind of a generic ban, so nothing to be learned, sadly. I was really hoping to be Uther. That was what I wanted to see banned out. And Nazebo. So now, I gotta think about this. Does that Nazebo ban scream anything of 2.0?
No, in fact, he was nerfed quite a lot with 2.0. Vile Infection takes 175 stacks instead of 150. Gargantuan had its health and damage reduced.
By a lot.
Toads do more damage, but that's generally not your big damage
dealer. You don't look at Nazeebo and be like, oh, Toads, right? But Toad build is a thing.
Superstition was nerfed too.
In dark corners of the North American Hero League, Toad build is a thing and slowly just got changed and buffed. But no, yeah, it is, yeah, if anything, it would be nerfed, especially the guard changes, man. Guard got huge nerfs coming into it with its auto attack debuff.
I think that's more of a remnant of an earlier age, an earlier time. Yeah, Nazeebo has been a favorite on Dragonshire because you are more guaranteed to be able to get to that late game spike.
Yeah, I agree with you. It feels very not so new patch focused. Variant in Leoric though for B-Step. Gonna have a solid Leoric 1 versus 1 into the Dahaka. Dahaka just flat wins that matchup. The reason mainly for it is just by the fact that Leoric is known to be able to trade through his wave clear. That was buffed 2-3 patches ago at this point. But then the fact that he drains, he can trade very well, but Dahaka can burrow and actually break the chain, which suddenly removes all healing, and Dahaka just wave clears infinite faster, especially post 7, which is why Dahaka pulls ahead into that matchup.
There is a false stat though, so maybe if he can bait the burrow, then all of a sudden false stat shows up, picks available. B-Step can give Gale Force a taste of their own medicine because I guarantee you they're not happy. K1 Pro is not happy with how many times he got picked off last game.
Yeah, he definitely cannot be. But there is less of a dive composition here for Gale Force in game number 2. Where are they going to go with the last 2 picks? Please give me an Uther. Just thank you.
There he is.
He's here. All right. It's my boy, Uther. That makes me really excited. I have so much to say about this game
Let's go, do it.
I was going to wait for the last pick because you're going to hear me talk way too much about
I hear that anyway.
Talent tiers at level 7 for Uther now and how they work with Varian compositions. Mainly just because Varian's known as like the, well, I just CC all day. And he goes, well, what if I just give you so much armor that nobody could die through this period? Right? It's a soft counter to Varian.
You're talking about Guardian of Ancient Kings, a new talent that if you heal,
you give everybody the most absurd amount of
armor instead of the 25 that you normally get with Devotion.
And with the level 1 talent, if it's completed, you can upgrade that to be for an absurd amount of time. And
3 seconds instead of 2.
You just make everybody the most tanky thing in the world. He does have trade-off, though.
Do you give up Redemption to be able to stack it twice, though? Ultimate question.
No.
Okay.
I don't think you do.
You just broke my heart.
Ooh, and there's the Lunara.
The hunt is on! Lunara versus Uther. It's back!
We're just full circle here.
I'm so excited.
It has been a while since we talked about, well, why do you pick Lunara here? And it's like, well, because the Uther. Splintered Spear, his face, split the damage, make him not be able to heal everybody up, and slowly make them resent picking an Uther in the first place. That was the first time Uther fell out of the meta, was after Lunara, based off that strategy.
Yes, Lunara, Uther has such long cooldowns between his abilities, his 2 heals. Although they are very bursty heals, it's just such a long cooldown that Lunara can keep throwing poison after poison, maybe even getting Thornwood Vine here. We've seen a lot of Leaping Strike. I'd say for B-Step, it's about 50-50 what we see from iDream when he plays Lunara, but if he just wants to make sure that everyone is poisoned until the end of time, maybe even doing that. There's some poisons available for Gale Force eSports if they want to get Corruption, though, so maybe wanting to do the same, but Malfurion is far better at healing up that poison.
Yeah, just by far the best. Was when we originally talked about this matchup, still is the best. And Uther still has his major problems. He has got a lot of really good things going for him now with his new rework, but a lot of the same core problems, you know, core design problems when it comes to that matchup against the Lunara here. So it will be still a struggle for that of Gale Force eSports, but I feel like a lot of their comp is very safe, very well-rounded for the map, and they're going to be comfortable here on Dragonshire.
Greymane Uther versus Lunara. We're back to the Summer Global Championship of last year. Here we go on Dragonshire for Game 2.
Oh, so what do we see at level 1? Is it Frisbee? Aquaface?
Wave of Light. So this questing talent, you have to damage or heal heroes with your Holy Radiance 60 times, and then you increase the duration of Devotion for a second, putting it at 3. But then also it helps reduce the cooldown and mana cost of Holy or Divine Radiance, Holy Radiance, so that you can try to mitigate that issue of not having your heals up enough.
No, I mean, I first of all want to just compliment you on your ability to so accurately break down the benefit of that new level 1.
Thank you.
But I'm going to follow that with, I heard what you said, but it's as simple as the golden frisbee gets even more golden when it gets finished, you know? That's the only way to look at that W spell out of Uther. It's just a big frisbee. Just hit him with the frisbee, and when you get enough people with your frisbee, it becomes an even better frisbee to throw. Just battle. Dish it out.
The value of the frisbee goes up.
Yeah.
You can show it off to your friends.
You can...
You brag about that frisbee.
You can do a lot of things with that frisbee.
You definitely don't give it to Rhaegar, because it's a valuable frisbee. He will just ruin it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Greymane. You don't give it to Greymane.
Yeah. Just chew it up and spit it out. Talking about spitting out here, if there is a Stormbolt in about half a second, iDream might have lost his life, but he can get right on out there. Hello to Gillian Dread.
I don't understand that. G-I-L-L-I-E.
No, I do.
What is that?
It's actually a Silent H version of the ghillie suit there. You know, it's just misspelled, because that's what your name represents, right? Is like a ghillie suit? No?
It's an actual gillyweed.
So you're trying to tell me that you're literally claiming that I'm weird for thinking at first glance your name represents a ghillie suit rather than a gillyweed, which is a fictional plant created in a really weird story.
I'm gonna stop you here because I don't know what a ghillie suit is.
Wait, really?
But I need one.
Wait, really?
Now. Just because I'm ghillie. Yeah.
You know, like, have you ever watched any military film ever? McIntyre, after that punt, he's just gonna be sweeping his way, walking away, and then fire gets thrown at him. All right, so seriously though, when you dress up in a bodysuit of grass and you hang out in the forest with your sweet sniper a million miles
grass?
out, you know what I mean? The suit that makes you look like you're a part of your terrain. That's a ghillie suit.
I think maybe I knew that, but I forgot. But still, no, that is not what I'm named after. Today you learned.
Today you learned.
Oh, thank you, camera person that nobody knows who they are.
Came up here and
invisible camera person brought me a picture of a ghillie suit.
That is a ghillie suit.
That was an early Dragon Night.
It was.
What else has been going on this game, Dread?
Not too much. One pickoff is really all we've gotten to experience. All right, 4. Uther going for that movement speed.
Pursuit of justice.
After hitting the Stormbolt. What that does from new to old Uther, even when Uther was at the top of the meta, is he's way better at now risking his positioning to make sure he goes out, gets a storm or a stun, and doesn't always force him to die, but it actually can work even better at suiciding, which I know that seems crazy, but if you are playing competitive Uther, you've got to know when dying is better than staying alive, and allowing you to commit even faster to those kills can bait your opponent into killing you even better. This right here so far is what I've liked the most as well when it comes to Uther builds on the rework for 2.0.
Even just helping you get into a better position to body block after you've stunned.
Everything about that level 4. His level 4s do feel a bit unimpactful. Oh. Equinox waiting in the wakes.
Great walk
out.
Throws in a Wraith walk back in behind minions to stop the Stormbolt.
It's a sad day, but this dominance here that Gale Force has up into this top lane is going to set B-Step even farther behind in this match. Now almost rounding a level and a half lead. Gale Force is just full control. They're showing no mercy in the series. And we got to remember the fact that when we heard their interview, they put less focus into B-Step than they did even of that of Tempo Storm.
They did. I honestly did believe that this would be the match where we saw them potentially struggle. But whatever those issues are, in weeks where they have 2 different people, 2 different teams that they have to go up against, it's refreshing to see them just start out this strongly here, knowing that they did want to focus more strongly. Here comes a fly. Hydra trying to get a kill on Fan, uses his essence, hammering, dropped, but Fan stays alive. Now Equinox is there, trying to be able to slow down K1 Pro as much as he can, throw out some extra damage there.
This 3 versus 3 on bottom, the fact that B-Step even can kind of like keep themselves in it, I think is a bit surprising. It really feels like if GFE just decided they were done with it and all in, they might stand a chance, but they're getting outpoked. So like we talked about, Uther into the Lunara, good Stormbolt over the wall after that Dwarf toss. Crowing goes in. finishes it off, and that is another kill going over to Gale Force eSports.
Amazingly well done from Equinox to dwarf toss over. Find Lunara. She was trying to stay away from the rest of the team, try not to give stacks as well to the Gul'dan Mike Udall. But Gale Force eSports gets their second kill of the game. They again are at a level lead and heading to heroic abilities ahead of B-Step. Things all coming up aces for Gale Force eSports in this early game.
Heroic choices for the Uther. I doubt we're going to see anything that is not Divine Shield. Divine Storm's neat and all, but it didn't really see too big of changes, if any. And that is going to be the D Shield. So I'm got to start talking about it, because this is the thing that makes me the most excited about the Uther rework, is the Guardian of the Ancient Kings. The fact that any person that receives the heal after being stunned, rooted, or silenced will receive 75 armor from his passive. Upgrading that with the level 1 when it's completed, increasing that duration. The 75 armor is just insane, the damage reduction here. So when we keep in mind being stunned, that means anything coming out of Varian, just period, when it comes to a taunt. The Malfurion Root, Twilight Dream, all are tools that will proc Uther into getting that 75 armor. And into a Malfurion matchup, Twilight Dream, you just sit back, play the Uther heal bot, wait for everybody to get Twilight Dream to hit one huge W, and 75 armor should be enough to make up for what that Twilight Dream did in damage.
So how does this change what B-Step needs to do then? They've caught people in roots. Obviously, they're going to have to be able to root and hold someone down to kill them. I was wondering if maybe we would see any adjustments for heroic abilities for either of those heroes, but it looks like no, they're going to maintain the norm. The only change, possibly Pendulum Blast for Falstad. I saw this when L5 also picked Judgment versus a Lucio, but that is not so much what's happening here so far.
Here goes the first taunt on
Mighty
front.
Gust.
Dwarf toss onto the point. They're going to try and take this 4 versus 3. Keep in mind, Horrify splits APM right in. There's going to be the
Drag, a second kill, takes out Lunara too. Gale Force eSports controlling all of these fights. They tried. B-Step tried with the Gust to push everyone off the point, but it wasn't far enough away.
They're just not even giving them a moment of hope, really, here. Gale Force is just cutthroat on Dragonshire here as they're going to move in towards this mid-fort. Twilight Dream is still up, and there's still a taunt available for B-Step, with the Wave of Light completing, only making the Guardians, that level 7, that much stronger, and just general Uther that much stronger. It's a very big power spike, either talent that you take at level 7, but it's just really, I don't know, it's ever since we knew about this rework, this is the thing I've been the most excited for, is that finally it feels like, at least for the first iteration, Uther is one of the only supports in the game that there is competition with, is Cleanse worth it, right? And I still feel like there's a time when Cleanse is worth it over this talent here, this new Guardian of the Ancient Kings.
Yeah, Hand of Protection does have a longer cooldown, but does also come with a cooldown reduction, so Uther potentially can even have a lesser cooldown if he is able to be in on action and reducing that. I like seeing that we have both Cursed Bullet and Go for the Throat played by Gale Force eSports. They had Go for the Throat with the dive comp last game. Now they have Cursed Bullet. Trying to chunk down. It does do extra 5% of a hero's health damage now. That was one of the buffs from one of the latest patches that we do have here in HGC. Gale Force eSports claim another fort, taking out top, looking at getting another Dragon Knight. B-Step once again finds themselves a talent tier down, but they have found Fan.
They have found him. Can they get the damage out with the Twilight Dream? They sure have it. Adaptation was used during that, so we've got another 90 seconds for that to come back online. But Gale Force managed to pick up the DK in the downtime. What can they make happen with it here is going to be the question, as they have 20 seconds still without Dahaka. It's going to be a keep front wall, it looks like, up on mid, but can they pressure any damage on another keep wall afterwards? Because this is still a 9-minute DK. We have to keep in mind that, like, considering the timestamp of the game that we're at, Gale Force has accelerated and opened the map so fast that they are, you know, talent tiers way earlier than we would normally see. Meaning that essentially the Dragon Knight is worth less to them than it is in a normal game.
Yeah, we haven't even hit 10 minutes yet. And Gale Force is encroaching on 16.
Yeah, that's very rare.
Oh.
Or if I scares iDream the wrong direction. Unless you're iDream, I guess it's about perfect pathing as a normal escape would have taken.
Thank you very much for sending me this way.
But Gale Force here, we talked about the dominance, the control, the taunt onto Equinox, but with that stat advantage, even with the Entomb, I don't think they've got him.
Well, they're trying. Divine Shield's been used too. Dahaka brush talking in on the side. Hearing that, McIntyre in the first flight.
Nothing to be gained except for Udall is very split. No Horrify to buy you time.
Way far away from Uther even to get heals and stay alive. No way getting back there. So B-Step fighting back in game number 2 just before Gale Force does get 16. This allows B-Step to try to steal away some of the mercenary camps, some of the pressure that Gale Force would be getting with this 16 talents here normally.
The Dahaka is soaking up on top has not helped B-Step at all. Just the control up in that top lane. And one thing Gale Force has done in this game that we don't see often, I've often put lack of emphasis on mid and top has been a complaint of Templestorm playing Dragonshire. And Gale Force seems to put enough emphasis in all the right areas for me. The fact that they have not gotten a key front wall and they're still, you know, mid and top 4 have both been taken, I think is really well-rounded approach to this map. Just because even though you don't ever win through top, ever, getting that fort removed, it's going to be fine. Getting that fort removed opens up so much when it comes to vision and just lane manipulation for those late game, you know, Dragonshire dances that we know.
Those roots were ultra important to B-Step being able to retreat. Gale Force eSports was trying to keep B-Step there, so maybe they could get a fight, force B-Step to fight them before they had 16 of their own. Well met. Continuing on with our Uther talk now, is like a mini Shrink Ray. It's 25% reduction instead of the 50 that was before. And then Benediction still looks to be the standard. Fan once again caught. Entomb being used. He's burrowed. Can't tunneling claws out through them. They have a few more seconds to try to get this kill, and they do. B-Step again getting a kill on Dahaka. The dinosaurs have not had a good time in this series. They're heading toward extinction.
Yeah, they very much, you know, they need to steer away from the crazy meteor thing flying down to the ground. They, man, it is crazy the fact that they've been able to get that pressure onto the Hakas, and that it's not the only time. The fact that we saw Gale Force being the ones to kind of do that in the last series is really strange. Maybe more focus and adaptation to the global play that has become more dominant here in North America. Taunt going on to Equinox. Good zoning route coming out from APM. Perfectly timed Wraith Walk means K1 Pro is going to be out of here. As Mikey Doll falls very, very low from a nice flank coming out from iDream. It's going to be pressure on this bottom shrine. It should be a free Dragon Knight as long as iDream flies.
Equinox wants to stop this. He gets rooted. So far, has not really dropped too far at all. Now Dahaka's back up to the top. Gale Force eSports bought the exact amount of time that they needed without losing a single member. B-Step will have to wait for another day to get a Dragon Knight.
Well met at 13 on the Uther build that you were talking about before. Is one that I would put more in the situational department. Just the fact that you can reduce the target's movement speed and damage for 25 is pretty neat, but I do think in the proper situations, you may still need some of his other 13 talents. But we'll see if everybody agrees on that. You know, like K1 Pro going down, but the fact that, like every other Uther I guess we've seen so far, that is one that I'm not totally sold on. It might be the 13 for North America, but I don't think it will be... I don't know what will be, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But the fluctuation in 13 exists way more than every other talent tier for new Uther.
Well, he has Spell Shield there too, and Blessed Champion, which is the increased heals if you're basic attacking after you use Holy Light. So which of those are, you just think it's situational?
I think all three really kind of have their own route right now. Good route.
Oh, iDream's gonna get caught. Horrify hits Varian, but Gust throws away the rest of Gale Force eSports. It's Equinox who is caught with the rest of the team, but he is that tanky Muradin who's able to walk away. But at least for B-Step, the whole time McIntyre's been wailing away on the structures in bottom lane, trying to open up potential to get a keep later on and trying to get experience back for his team.
Yeah, they just want to open up any part of the map. All the force still stand for Gale Force eSports. As Equinox comes down for the flank. Hawk face. As the Hammer of Justice. Members of B-Step are here, but they still do not have the fall set, and they're down behind the experience race here. And that's something they've been trying so desperately to be able to catch up on, but never quite there. A lot of it comes down to, you know, the only picks they've managed to get is onto Dahaka, really isolated into the side lanes, and they're yet to even hold their own And what felt like a 5 versus 5 skirmish.
Now iDream's caught. He dodged Stormbolt. Equinox jumping in. He is not making it out of here. Drag over the wall. Fan gets a kill on Falstad. This is furthering that experience advantage for Gale Force. B-Step would love to have a full team fight, but losing McIntyre there is rough.
Yeah, and Gale Force now...
Or iDream, sorry.
With that 40-second timer, man, they cannot lose K1 Pro here. Dodged all the CC, so he's going to be fine. But with 20 talents here advantage, pressure on the map going in favor of Gale Force in the next Dragonite phase, they're going to have a lot of breathing room due to this pressure. It's, wow, beautiful. Entomb, nobody could force anything, though.
Too. He's so healthy, even with all of the poisons that McIntyre has. Yeah, Stormwood Mine, using it on cooldown to poison Gale Force. They at least will save the keep.
And that was needed, but the fact that they weren't able to capitalize on that insane Entomb in the isolation just hurts so bad. The fact that because you're never going to get one like that. With down a talent tier like that, perfectly isolating the prime kill target. It's just everybody a little bit too far away. And one of those freak situations B-Step did not expect. And they're going to be down now over this next Dragonite phase. Gale Force has the pressure on bottom. They do not have the pressure on top, but that's where their global stands, so they are in all the right positioning.
20 is almost online for B-Step. We know they'll be able to get Spectral Leech. Maybe that will help with the damage. Trying to take someone out from Gale Force. Epic Mount will help a lot for Falstad too. There is not Apex Predator for Dahaka, instead favoring team fights. He's got Essence Claws.
Liaric's just been patiently hanging out up on the top lane, trying to wait for Dahaka to leave or at least move up to the shrine. And he is not giving him any time of day, actually moving down towards the bottom half of the map and just getting that side soak. Gale Force is trying to pressure out this bottom keep slowly but surely, and Dahaka look towards that side soak and abuse that global because they control the bottom shrine. It's convenient for them to ship out the Dahaka. Calf. Thank you. I thought for a moment he might check that shrub without throwing. The only way to free scout for...
Gale Force was baiting that too.
Yeah.
Showing off in the mid. Like, oh, B-Step's gonna go for a pincer attack here. And we'll catch them. No such luck.
So Gale Force is gonna get more pressure out. Dahaka's capturing up on top. B-Step is going to bottom. But this is a huge win for Gale Force eSports based on the fact that they now have Dahaka up on top with Knights and no fort being there. They can pressure out 1 to 2 waves, nope on out towards bottom and try and take the fight there. Or if they have control over both, they can just flat out push through mid. Either way, this is exactly what you want late game for Gale Force eSports.
The only thing is Dahaka may be caught here. Falstad and Leoric are around. Lunara's starting to move up too to at least help clear these out. Leo can sit on the point for a while, but bottom is controlled by Gale Force eSports, and that's where a mercenary push is starting to do a lot. Drag, Hammer of Justice follow. He has 1,
2.
APM's there. Oh, beautiful Horrify at the end of that. Gale Force eSports timing it out to take out Varian for 60 seconds.
Making sure that he was not going to get that third parry and survive, even dropping the spray, as that is the new B-Step. Gale Force eSports moving up, catching K1 Pro, drops the Entomb. He's merely just going to be buying time, though. Dahaka's making his rotation back up towards top, so for the first time in a long while, Gale Force looks like they are going to be able to pick themselves up a Dragonite. The bottom keep falling so low, and at 19 minutes into the game, it very much could be GG here. As B-Step doesn't have much left in them. They have Gust, and outside of that, not too good of defensive tools. Twilight Dream's still pretty neat.
Leo's going to be back very soon. Varian 15 seconds out still. iDream slowing this down, and that punt does slow down Equinox from rotating down to the bottom lane. Varian has 10 seconds until he's back. McIntyre has been throwing out all the poisons he can, trying to whittle down the health bars of Gale Force eSports enough, but the Dragonite is still standing strong.
A lot of damage there coming out from McIntyre, but K1 Pro has already fallen. The Curse Bullet was used. Gust is going to drop after the taunt on to Crone. So split is the decision-making of Gale Force eSports as they are not even through the shields yet. Shielding has been removed. 5% on core. Twilight Dream lands on top of 3. Gale Force is moving back away from the core as its core is now 88%.
Well, but Malfurion just got taken out from the front line of Gale Force, and they are ready to re-engage McIntyre, trying to hit the back line. Top pulling Akaface away from McIntyre so that he can try to get the kill. In goes Greymane with Divine Shield. Uther has gone down, but that gives plenty of heals to Gale Force eSports. The core is falling 30% and going down fast 20%. B-Step can't save this. It looks like it will go down thanks to the poison, thanks to the damage of Gale Force eSports. They will walk away with game 2.
And a lot of thanks to Akaface there at the very end with dying, allowing him to be able to keep Crone up as long as possible, then coming back to life with the 20 choice there. Proper use of Uther, something we haven't seen in a long while, so something to note. You always want to be taking the core whenever you're going for that end race on an Uther, but clean game once again coming up from Gale Force eSports.
Yeah, one thing maybe is that Dahaka got picked a few times, but similarly we have seen that situation in game 1 happen to B-Step, and it looked like Gale Force were willing to make the adjustment of having him be just 1 lane away and soaking from the 4-man in the late game so that they didn't lose him for a long time, and then be okay with just making sure they had 1 shrine and not focusing on trying to sneak the Dragon Knight. They played very patiently with that.
Yeah, and that's something Dragonshire kind of forces. I really like Gale Force's approach to Dragonshire. It just, they open up all parts of the map. They worry about everything, getting pressure at the proper amount of times. I still feel like at times maybe a little passive with the level 20 fights and when they have the advantage when they don't. But overall, I would even put their approach and focus towards mid and top above tempo. I really, really like what they've done on the map so far.
Well, we're going to head into a commercial break. When we return, we'll have game 3. See you then.
Sombra, it's on you now.
I'm all over it.
See the full animated short at playoverwatch.com.
When I was young, I lived a life of recklessness. In my selfishness, I inflicted pain and hurt those I cared for. I have learned many lessons in my struggles with doubt and fear. Balance and harmony are not easily attained. They must be fought for!